A Love to Remember.
My name is Sophia, and this is the story of how I met Danny and how our lives changed forever. It was a sunny morning when I first met Danny at the university. I was sitting in the library, reading my favorite book, when he walked by. He had a warm smile, the kind that makes you feel like everything is going to be okay. I didn't think much of it at first, just a kind student passing by. But then, he stopped and asked me about the book I was reading.
Is that a good book?
He asked, his voice gentle and kind. I looked up, a little surprised that a stranger would start a conversation like that. But there was something about his eyes, something kind and sincere. Yes, it is, I replied with a smile. It's one of my favorites. He nodded, then sat down at the table next to me.
I'm Danny,
he said, extending his hand. I'm Sophia, I replied, shaking his hand. It was a simple introduction, but it felt like the beginning of something special. We started talking about books, and soon our conversation drifted to other things, our favorite movies, music, and dreams. I found out that Danny loved photography. He had his camera with him and showed me some of the pictures he had taken around the campus. They were beautiful, capturing the university life in a way I had never seen before. As the days passed, we met more often at the university. Our conversations grew longer, and I began to look forward to those moments. Danny was different from anyone I had ever met. He listened to me, really listened, and made me feel like I mattered. One evening, after our classes were over, we were sitting on a bench outside the university, watching the sky turn orange and pink as the sun set. Danny turned to me and said,
Sophia, I feel like I've known you forever.
I smiled, feeling a warmth in my heart. I feel the same way, Danny. He took a deep breath, then continued.
There's something I need to tell you. I've been falling for you since the day we met. I know it's sudden, but I can't help it. You're always on my mind.
My heart skipped a beat. I had been feeling the same way but was too scared to admit it. But now, hearing Danny say those words made everything feel right. I've been falling for you too, Danny, I confessed, my voice trembling with emotion. He took my hand, holding it gently.
Sophia, would you like to go out with me? Maybe we could take a walk, get some coffee, or just sit and talk like we always do.
I nodded, unable to hide my happiness. I'd love that, Danny. From that day on, we spent even more time together. We went on walks, studied together in the library, and talked about everything under the sun. Danny was always thoughtful, always kind, and always made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. Our relationship grew stronger with each passing day. We laughed together, cried together, and shared our hopes and dreams. Danny showed me a world full of love and kindness. One evening, a year after we first met, Danny took me to the same bench outside the university where it all began. We sat on the bench, and Danny turned to me, his eyes full of love.
Sophia,
he began, his voice soft and tender.
This university, this bench, this moment, it all means so much to me because of you. You've changed my life in ways I never imagined. I love you, Sophia, with all my heart. Will you marry me?
Tears filled my eyes as I realized how much this man meant to me. I didn't need to think twice. Yes, Danny, I whispered, my voice choked with emotion. I'll marry you. He slipped a ring onto my finger, and we hugged each other tightly. From that day forward, Danny and I built a life full of love, trust, and endless happiness. Every time I looked at Danny, I was reminded of that sunny morning at the university, the start of our beautiful journey together. A journey that began with a simple smile and a question about a book but grew into a love story that I will cherish forever. But as time passed, we realized that love alone wasn't enough to keep us together. After we got married, things started to change. At first, it was small things, disagreements about how to spend our weekends, or how to manage our finances. We both had different ideas about how our life together should be, and those differences began to cause tension. Danny was always busy with his work, and I felt lonely at home. I tried to talk to him about it, but he didn't seem to understand how I was feeling. I started to resent the fact that he wasn't around as much as I had hoped. Danny felt like I was too demanding, always asking for more time and attention when he was already stressed about his job. The little arguments turned into bigger fights. We stopped talking about our dreams and started focusing on our problems. The love that once brought us so much joy now seemed to cause us more pain. We both felt lost, wondering how something so beautiful could turn into something so difficult. One night, after another heated argument, Danny and I sat down in silence. I could see the exhaustion in his eyes, and I knew he could see the sadness in mine. We had both changed, and the relationship we once cherished was now filled with misunderstandings and unmet expectations.
Sophia,
Danny finally said, his voice heavy with emotion.
I don't know what's happening to us. I love you, but it feels like love isn't enough anymore.
I nodded, tears filling my eyes. I feel the same way, Danny. I thought love would solve everything, but it's not that simple. We need more than just love to make this work. We both realized that we had been relying on our feelings to carry us through, but we hadn't put in the effort to truly understand each other's needs and to work through our differences. We had been holding on to an ideal of love, thinking it would be enough to overcome any challenge. But love, as we learned, is only the beginning. It's what brings two people together, but it takes much more to build a life together. That we decided to seek help, to talk to a counselor who could guide us through the difficult times. It wasn't easy, and it took a lot of patience and understanding. We had to learn how to communicate better, and how to support each other in ways that we hadn't before. Over time, we began to rebuild our relationship on a stronger foundation. We learned that love is not just about the good times, but also about being there for each other during the tough times. We grew closer, not because we ignored our problems, but because we faced them together, with the commitment to make our marriage work. Now, when I look at Danny, I still see the man I fell in love with, but I also see the partner who has stood by me through thick and thin. Our love has changed, it's deeper, more mature, and grounded in a reality that we both understand. We know now that love is not enough on its own, but with hard work, understanding, and a lot of patience, it can still be the most beautiful thing in the world. If you liked the video, please support our channel by subscribing, liking, commenting and sharing. We'll be back soon with the next video.